that there are certain things which are never discussed, never thought about, don't appear, people appear not to be conscious of them, which nevertheless form a grounding for social and political life. And this is what he called habitus. They are the hidden things which we take for granted. They are what Gramsci called common sense. They're so common sense, they seem natural. And we often talk about people behaving naturally. Well, when they do that, Bourdieu would want to say, in reality, they're responding to cultural signals and so on. But they will attribute it to nature, their own nature. It is in their own nature to be this way. And so habitus is a very interesting kind of concept, because it then leads into this question of, okay, what is the habitus of neoliberalism, and how does that habitus actually resonate in the world? And again, it comes back to this notion of individuality and difference, and how difference should be thought about. And it's and I think about this when I sort of working myself. Something occurs and I immediately translate it in this way or that way. And then I say to myself, well, no, it's not really this way or that way, but that's the habitus at work. And all of us, it seems, have undergone a change, not only in the conduct of conduct, but also in the habitus. And there is a neoliberal habitus, if you like. And this struck me a great deal in the other direction, because back in the 1970s, about 1972 or 3, Richard Nixon, President of the United States, was faced with a whole wave of anti-capitalist legislation in the Environmental Protection Agency, the Occupational Safety and Health, Consumer Protection, all those kinds of things. And he was signing all of these into law. And he jokingly said, I guess we are all Keynesians now. And that was a telling kind of comment, because it meant that, he saw this as being part of the order, and that he could sign these things because somehow or other they were compatible with how the world was, and we were all Keynesians now. So as a Keynesian, he would sign these things. Now, in the mid-1990s, I remember kind of looking around and suddenly thinking to myself, we're all neoliberals now. This was a time when Blair and Clinton were articulating a progressive left politics, which is actually straight neoliberalism. What Clinton was about and Blair was about was the famous third way in Britain. This was what neoliberalism was becoming, if you like, the habitus in which which all politics was cast. And this is what Margaret Thatcher was about when she said, "There's no such thing as society. There's only a family and there's only individuals and their families." This is what she about when she said, "There is no alternative." And when the perestroika came and the world, was changed, and that, Margaret Thatcher said basically to Gorbachev, she said, "There is no alternative." And that inevitability, that kind of almost, it is a fact of nature rather than a fact of politics and culture and all the rest of it. It becomes terribly important. And this is when neoliberalism becomes embedded in our consciousness, embedded in our subconscious. And that makes it extremely difficult to get out of neoliberal ways of thinking, even though it's lost its political legitimacy and it's lost all kinds of other things, even though it has done that. And this is how I see things going on in the United States right now.